Muslim or person who's interested in knowing about Islam can really take away from this kind of research?
I think what's important to realize is that a couple of really key things. That what's so special about Islam that the scholars have really propelled themselves and come to understandings that today we find to be the same conclusions we reach today after all that science and technology has been able to give to us, that they were able to reach these in essentially pre-modern times.
Yeah.
What is it about Islam that gave that impetus? And so we think back to the verses in the Quran that talk about those who have mental turbulence and specifically request that we are kind to them and that we feed them properly and that we take care of them, right? This is a Quranic injunction, right? And then all the hadith, the sayings of the Prophet, where their discussion is on, that seek knowledge, right, from the beginning of your life to the end of your life, and seek knowledge even if it means going far. And all of these injunctions of really understanding the world around you, including the human being inside of you, right? So I think that's something really special, first of all, to really understand that there's something special about Islam's ability and congruence with science, not its division with science, as often as the modern discourse, that religion and science are at opposition or in opposition to each other. That's not necessarily the case with our faith, and we see that proven over and over again.
Why do you think that there was a break in the transmission from people like al-Balkhi to modern times?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think most recently I've been really looking into this topic more than before. After the golden age of Islam, you find what we call the decline period. And in that decline period, it's unfortunate, but there is, as most societies, they have a peak and then they sort of decline. We know that was a time of a lot of infighting. We also know that's a time of eventually a lot of colonialism as well. So then you start getting these ideas that are superimposed onto the Muslim community that is not from its original state, right? And those are kind of brought up, a lot of these isms that are then brought up as better conditions, but that's problematic because then those are in opposition sometimes with Islamic ideas and values to potentially. So what happens is with this decline period, you find things that you find in today's modern Muslim communities. Like when you ask people, why do people have mental illness? And they immediately will say, jinn, right? Kind of this idea that there is a possession that's happening, or ayn, the evil eye, right? Or they may say sihr, magic, right? They may have these, and these constructs are actually part of Islam, like we do accept them as, but we can't say that they are the only reasons for people's mental illnesses, right? And so that's important because when in that decline period, you see moving away from all the advancements the scholars and our noble predecessors had come to, and moving into this discussion of jinn, ayn, sihr, right? Evil eye, magic.
So they're a more of spiritual type of explanation for mental illness rather than doing more of the hard work of diagnosing and treating.
The biological understanding that it could be spiritual and biological together, right? Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Where do you think people can go to learn more about this type of research that you've done?
So I would definitely welcome them to visit our Muslims and Mental Health Research Lab webpage at Stanford. Okay. There's kind of listing out of the different projects that we have going. There's 9 different lines of research that run through that lab. The historical line is only one of the many that are there. So that's one place. The other place that's very useful is looking at the Khalil Center. The Khalil Center is a Muslim counseling center that integrates what it kind of is, its a goal is to integrate concepts of Islamic spirituality into the therapy process. So there are branches of the Khalil Center in Chicago and also in California. And hopefully that will be expanding as well over time. But this idea of making sure that the primary sources and the framework for Muslims, that is absolutely incorporated into the therapy process.
Okay, thank you very much.